So now I'm going to go through and demonstrate how to answer the overtaking aircraft questions. So the first thing you should notice is that the layout for the steps, the individual steps to answering this question, is the same for the previous distance, speed, time questions. Unfortunately, due to the amount of information we had to present on the slides, we couldn't fit the distance, speed, time pyramid into the slide, but rest assured that we are still using that pyramid, and you should definitely still have that pyramid drawn out on your working out paper. You should only have to draw that pyramid once on each piece of working out paper, and you can just refer to that one pyramid for the progressive questions that you get related to distance, speed, time. So we'll go through the different steps now to answer this question. So aircraft A takes off from a base heading east at 240 kilometers an hour. So heading east, it's traveling 240. 15 minutes later, aircraft B takes off, heading the same direction, which is east, at 320 kilometers per hour. So it's traveling 80 kilometers faster than aircraft A. How far from the base does B overtake A, and how long after B takes off will it overtake A? Sometimes it's important to note that they might only ask the I component of the question, so the second part won't be asked, but you'll still need to go through each step in order to get the answer for I. So it doesn't matter how they ask the question, you'll still have to go through these three steps. So the first thing you need to calculate is the head start distance. How far away from the base was aircraft A by the time that aircraft B took off? So we use the time, we know how long it was traveling for before aircraft B took off, which was 15 minutes. So we're just going to use that information to calculate the distance. So 240 kilometers per hour and 15 minutes is the time. We convert that to hours because that's the units we're working with in speed, kilometers per hour. So 0.25 hours. We transfer that information into the appropriate equation. So distance equals speed by time, multiply it out, and the answer is 60 kilometers. So aircraft A was 60 kilometers away from the base by the time that aircraft B took off. Now, step 2 is working out the time, which is the second component, the time that it takes for aircraft B to overtake aircraft A. Now, we know that the distance that it needs to travel is 60 kilometers. That's the distance it needs to make up. And it needs to make up that distance at the increase in speed that it's traveling at. So it's traveling 80 kilometers faster than aircraft A. So how long would it take an aircraft traveling at 80 kilometers an hour to travel 60 kilometers? And that's basically what you're working out for the overtake time. So we just have the information laid out to the right. So the distance is 60 kilometers. The speed is the difference in speed. You need to minus aircraft B from aircraft A from aircraft B. The speed, difference in speed is 80 kilometers an hour. We're working out the time. So time equals distance over speed. Time equals 60 over 80, which equals 3 over 4, which equals 0.75 hours. So basically aircraft B is going to overtake aircraft A 0.75 hours after it takes off. So now that we've calculated the time that it's going to take to overtake aircraft A, we need to calculate the distance from the base it will be when it overtakes aircraft A. So I've just converted the information from the previous slide to this slide, so it's easier to transfer it into the step 3. Head start was 60 kilometers. We don't need to know that now. We only needed to know that to calculate the time it would take for B to overtake A, which is 0.75 hours. So the next step is overtake distance. So distance equals speed by time. So that we got the speed that equals 320 kilometers, and that's the speed of aircraft B. The time it's going to take to overtake aircraft A is 0.75 hours. We plug that information into the equation. So distance equals 320 multiplied by 0.75, which equals 240 kilometers. So basically what we've determined is aircraft B is going to overtake aircraft A 0.75 hours after it takes off, and it's going to overtake aircraft A 240 kilometers away from base. And that's the answer. So the answer to II is 0.75, and the answer to I is 240 kilometers. So you can see if they only asked I, you would still need to go through the 3 steps to calculate the answer. So you'd still need to calculate the overtake time to then plug that in to calculate the overtake distance. So the 3 steps that you go through, the first step is head start. You need to get the head start distance that aircraft A has. Step 2 is overtake time, and step 3 is overtake distance. So a good way to remember the 3 steps is just to memorize head start, HS, overtake time, and overtake distance. Excuse my writing on the whiteboard. HS, OT, OD. And if you memorize those 3 steps, you should remember, after you've practiced this process a few times, you should remember the process to implement.